Alright, so I don't know about you guys, but I definitely believe we are finally due a new Revelations game. 'Cause it's been a long time since the second game, and there's a lot of open-ended stuff that happened with that game that just hasn't been spoken about since. And I think now is the time to probably make another one. So for those of you who don't know, the Revelations games, the first two we have are smaller games following characters you usually know. So the first one being Jill and Chris, with the second one being the story following Claire Redfield and Barry Byrne from the first game. And yeah, they're usually smaller games, not as long as your mainline entries, but still really good to have because they bridge, they're like bridge games basically, which means they kind of tell a story that happens between the events of like the mainline series. And I think that's a really good idea, and I think there's definitely an opportunity for another game in that style. I think both Revelations games we have were received really, really well. They were a nice change of pace at the time they released, especially the first one, because the first one came out around the time of 5 and 6, where it was very action-focused at the time, and this really did kind of slow that down and take it back to methodical, slow-paced survival horror. And people really love those games for that. I agree. Like I've said before, I really much prefer the survival horror versions of RE than the full-on action ones. That's just my opinion. Like, I prefer to play 1, 2, 3, and 7 over 4, 5, 6, and 8. I do like those games a lot, but I do prefer the style of the older Resident Evil games. And on top of that, you get to play characters that have been in the series for a long time. The first Revelations game follows Jill and Chris, with the second game following Claire Redfield and Barry Byrne, alongside some extra characters as well. Maura Byrne is present in the second game. You've got a couple of other BSA agents in the first game, and there's a big kind of setup at the end of the second game for something new. But it hasn't been touched since, and I will make a separate video on that, because I think it's such an interesting thing. But overall, I think we're definitely due some kind of Revelations game, or some kind of a bridge game between the newer entries in the series. Now, there was a rumour, I want to say last year, that went around for a bit, of a game called Resident Evil Outrage, and you probably do remember that. Basically, that was rumoured to be a Revelations 3, and what it would be, would you be playing as Rebecca Chambers, and Leon would be present in the game as well. And it would be a bridge game between the events of 7 and 8, I believe, or 6 and 7, one of the two. And it was a big rumour, it was interesting, people were talking about it, but then it suddenly just kind of disappeared. Whether it was true or not, I don't know. There was also rumours that it had been scrapped and cancelled, so I don't know if that's true at all. But maybe we'll see that again, maybe it is something that's coming. But either way, I think I really want to see a Revelations game coming, because there's so many, I don't know if it's just me, but so many kind of like separate storylines going on with the newer games at the moment. We've got the connections who haven't really been explored yet. I'm hoping that's the case in RE9, but it seems like RE9 is kind of shifting its focus towards PSA. Whether the connections are involved in that storyline, I don't know. But having the connections involved in, a game would be interesting to finally see, because they've been teased, they've been mentioned forever, and there's been nothing yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But with that being said, hopefully we get one, within the next few years or so. I think it'd be really cool to see another one come back. Let me know what you think of the Revelations games. Have you played them? Do you like them? Which one do you prefer? But yeah, as always, guys, thank you all for coming by. Remember to leave a like on the video if you did enjoy, and subscribe for more brand new Resident Evil content every single day. Thank you all for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one.